Roger, we have Jack on the line who was injured working cattle.
Injured what?
Working cattle.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Barbara. Let's talk to Jack. Jack, this is Roger Riedmiller of Lawyer on the Line. How can I help you?
Yeah, about a month ago, I was working some cattle for a guy, and the cow basically tried to jump the gate and slammed into me and tore my rotator cuff. And anyway, I had x-rays and stuff taken, and they called up and said there's only $1,000 on their insurance. They thought they had a good policy. And the lady got in contact with me and said that if he was 51% negligent, they would pay. But since she said, well, we'll pay you $1,000 straight up, and wanted to know my name and my address, basic Social Security number, and stuff. She kept me a check, and I could use it on my own insurance. $1,000 didn't even touch base on that. So what can I do on that to do their insurance?
Well, it's a good question. How is the farmer or the responsible party more responsible than you? I'm not saying that you did anything wrong, but tell me who was wrong in this particular situation.
That's what she said. It has to be proven that they're 51% negligent. And I'm not sure how you can, when you're working cattle, at least she said that, cattle are wild animals, you can't predict them. So, how do you, who's 51%, 49%?
Well, all right, Jack, first thought that I had was that this was possibly a workers' compensation claim, but since you're working in an agricultural pursuit, the only way you could make a workers' compensation claim is if the employer, your employer, opted or elected to cover his or her employees with workers' compensation insurance coverage. And so if they don't opt in and you're purely involved in an agricultural pursuit, then you don't have a workers' compensation claim. The only claim that you could have would be negligence. And the only thing that comes to my mind is that if you were placed in a position by the owner of the cattle such that you could not have within reason avoided this injury, and the owner of the cattle placed you in that position knowing that this particular cow was or could possibly cause you injury, then perhaps you may be more or less negligent than the owner of the cattle. So it is a difficult situation, Jack. I don't know what else to tell you. Hopefully you have health insurance to cover the rest of the bills. If you don't, you need to talk to the employer about whether or not they have work comp coverage, and for future reference, ask if they won't cover you for a work-related injury on the job in this agricultural business, because it is so dangerous. And workers' compensation insurance coverage is relatively cheap. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate the phone call.